thought they hit some really tough shots in that fourth quarter. You know, those 2 threes, prayer threes, end of shot clock. I think we got a little unlucky, quite honestly. You know, Brunson obviously took over at the end, and you know, we started double teaming them and try to do some different things. But listen, I'm super proud of the way our group played. We played great basketball tonight for, you know, 3 quarters. You know, unfortunately, fourth quarter, you know, they dominated us in the fourth quarter. You know.
What do you think happened when you guys had the ball in the fourth?
When we had the ball, what are you saying, offensively? Yeah, you know, if my only regret, and this, you know, this can happen when you get a little fatigued. I think it just stopped moving. I mean, we were pinging the ball all over the place, great ball movement, and then it just got a little stagnant. And I told the guys, I said, we played great basketball the majority of the game. Just the ball stuck at the end there a little bit. Got to keep trusting the pass. And then, but I'd also say we got a ton of great looks that didn't go in. So, you know, we'll look at it. I think decisions got to be better, you know. Fatigue, sometimes we tend to want to, you know, put our heads down too much. Just got to find the open guy.
Did Donovan turn something there? He seemed to be.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Nothing from the training camp, from the training staff. So, haven't heard anything.
Did you feel like he had the ball enough in that down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, we you know, obviously tried to, you know, attack their weaker defenders. Obviously, yeah, he had the ball. I thought he had the ball a ton. You know.
Anything else went wrong? Mark?
Kenny, obviously Brunson got hot at the end.
Yeah.
When you look ahead towards game 2, do you look at matchup or coverage to try to slow him down?
I mean, we held him in check most of the game, right? It was basically fourth quarter. He got loose, and you know, we definitely tried to mix up some stuff, throw some stuff at him. We'll have to keep looking at it. Hit a lot of, you know, his tough floaters and hit that, you know, tough contested 3. You know, I felt like they hit a lot of tough shots, you know. I mean, the 2 Bridges threes, like, you know, kind of what are you going to do, you know?
Boy, how's Kenny Atkinson going to move forward after that? I mean, very complimentary of the team, but
you have
I don't know.
It's a 7-game series. He's going to watch that film and regret some of the decisions he made, no question. You know, in the heat of the moment, when the momentum swings like that in a building like that, it's tough to make the right decisions, but there are some things he could have done. Listen, if James Harden is getting isolated and Jalen Brunson's starting to get hot, maybe he needs to not be on the floor, and you need to get Strus out there, who's a little bit better defender, one-on-one against Jalen Brunson. But I just think the adjustment that Mike Brown made by putting Shamet in the lineup, opening up the floor for Brunson, I don't think there was a counter adjustment made by the Cavs in order to figure out how to do that. Now, going through the series, there will be, because they'll be able to adjust to it on film. But that was one of the reasons why the Knicks were able to pull off this comeback.
All right, Murray with a great call on the radio on ESPN New York. Jalen Brunson, Allahan back from across the street, goes for 11 straight, 38 points for the game. He had 15 in the fourth quarter, 2 in overtime. What was that building like when all this was going on?
Man, there was blood in the water. Like, that's what it was. It was that sense of a couple, like, and that's Jalen Brunson. That's, again, what's great about Jalen Brunson is that, you know, the offense is nice. They figured something out. They ran this stuff. It was really great. And then Jalen's like, all right, this isn't working tonight. Get out of the way. I got this. And he just went straight ISO, and he just started picking on James Harden. Yeah. And it was like just a couple of buckets, and it was like the murmur in the crowd. Then it started to build the crescendo. And it really was less about, it was the defensive stops, getting the stops, and then Brunson just couldn't miss. And the combination of that was, that's exactly what it was. The crowd started sensing it, that something can happen. All I kept thinking of, guys, and I asked Mikhail this, last year, game 1. The Knicks had a double-digit lead and couldn't close the door. They didn't get to the end of the game. And some threes knocked down. Momentum went the other way. And I'm thinking, so this is now history repeating, but in the reverse.
Remember they did it to Boston, though, the first 2 games in Boston.
That's right. That's right.
They stole those games exactly like this, on the road, down 17, down 15 those first 2 games. Mikal Bridges making huge shots. This team, when they get stops, they are very tough.
And knock down
threes. They feed off their defense.
Absolutely
Remember,
true.
Christmas Day, the Knicks came back from 17 down against the Cavs.
Yeah.
That was a Tyler Kolek game.
That's
right?
in the back of the Cavs' mind. Believe me, that's in the back of their mind.
Guys, let's-
you remember everything as a player.
Let's look at tonight's New York State Lottery power player and Jalen Brunson.
Who is it, do you think?
21 points through 3 quarters, and then 15 in the fourth quarter, and I mentioned 2 more in overtime. Plus the 11 in a row, bringing the Knicks back from 22 down.
I mean, this is what a leader does, right, guys? Like, this is when you need something, you need energy, you need someone to just get hot, take over, whatever it is. This is what this guy does, and it's what he's been doing for 4 years here with this team. Him understanding how critical getting the win tonight was, getting that Game 1 win in their pocket was.
Yeah, not all leaders do that, but great leaders do that. Great players do what he did. And he just led the way for his team in the fourth quarter. What a performance. I'm with you. We got to dissect why James Harden just swiping at the ball like that is on an island, Harden Island, trying to guard Jalen Brunson, clutch player of the year. Impossible for him. And, you know, I understand Atkinson did not want to throw 2 at Brunson. Allow those shooters, because there were all shooters out there at that point. It was Towns, it was Anunoby, it was Bridges, no Hart. Hart was not in the game, and Shamet. You can't just throw 2 guys at Brunson, because all of a sudden that's going to lead to open threes, and they're going to make them. So he dared Jalen Brunson to beat him, and Jalen Brunson said, I got you, and he took care of business.
He did, and I just think as much as you want to give the Cleveland Cavaliers credit for the defense that they played, and not make an excuse for, oh, it was rest or oh, it was rust. They deserve a lot of credit. Those guys were flying around. Dean Wade and Mobley and Allen, they had a lot to do with why the Knicks struggled for such a long time. But then I think on the other side of the coin is definitely the fact that this Knicks team got going because that is who they are. They are one of the best offensive teams in the league, and Jalen Brunson is one of the best late clutch scorers this game has, and I think he showed that as well. And so this is a Knicks team that now finding a way to get a win in this game in the style that they did, I think they are a totally different team after the Atlanta series, after the Philly series, and this game now in the Eastern Conference Finals at home up 1-0 in this fashion, I think changes this entire series as it goes on.
It really is amazing, and it does also show you this group as they've gone through the years and experience and understanding, learning from that experience. Again, Bridges talked about that, learning from experience, and how you get to a point as a core where you've been through so much that down 22 at home in the fourth quarter, you just keep going. And all you're looking for is that one thing to just believe in, one thing to kind of just feel a little bit of hope. And everyone just believes. Like all of a sudden, it permeates the team to where Mike Brown had to find a combination at work. Landry Shamet's minutes were big-time minutes. Him coming in there, that's a great adjustment that now we'll watch in this series. But there's a clear, palpable sense of collective belief in this team that could make a comeback like that and do it to get a win. And once they got to overtime, I mean, I know it was tied. Was there any doubt?
No. Home team, the way they had the momentum, no question.
So Kenny Atkinson, Long Island native, of course, former Knicks assistant. Here's what he had to say, trying to make sense of what happened to his team after Game 1.